Hi everyone and welcome back for another video. Today's video is just sort of an update on the things that have been happening in my life. I am going to Ghana in a couple of weeks, and unfortunately it's because my grandmother died, and so I'm going to be going to attend her funeral with my family. Her death, I guess, has accelerated my return to Ghana. Because I did intend to go back to Ghana for two reasons. One, to look for wedding venues, and two, to organise the bits and pieces of a project that I'm working on, which I will tell you more about once that project is live and up and running, you know, for you to hear about. So we'll be attending her funeral. You know, I'll also try and use the time to organise myself on those two other things that I mentioned, the wedding and also the project that I'm working on. Wedding planning wise, we're still not really sort of organised, I guess. You know, I was going to go to Ghana. I was going to Ghana to look for wedding venues, but it's kind of a question of which is the least, which is going to cost the least, and which is going to be less of a hassle. And I go through moments where I'm just like, you know what, let's just get married in a registry office and be done with it. I don't need a big ceremony. But then on the other hand, I just always remember wanting to walk down the aisle and, you know, wear the beautiful dress and, you know, be the bride, you know. I just always remember wanting that. But then, you know, the cost of weddings, you know, I just always think, you know, you spend, you know, £10,000 to £20,000 on a wedding, and that's, you know, a good amount of money down on, you know, a house that, you know, you could build your future in. It just seems like such a waste of money. But on the other hand, you know, can you really put a price on memories? Can you put a price on, you know, the one of the most special days of your life? I don't know. But anyway, I'm probably less inclined to go down the registry route. Yeah, I'm probably less inclined to do that. So I think I probably do want a wedding. My fiance doesn't really care, and he's just like, you know, whatever, you know, whatever you decide, you know, I'm happy to go along with. So, you know, okay. So I've been looking at a few venues. One of them is Hilbury, which is in the Aburi area, and it's actually quite near to where we got engaged. And apparently Bob Marley's wife has a house there. So, hey. Okay, so that, and then there was another place I was looking at called Azazi Island, and that's, you know, a bridal island. It's actually a proper island, which is in the Adar region, Adar-Foa region, like a series of islands in that area, and all they do is cater for people to get married, so it's a bridal island. But unfortunately, they haven't really responded to my emails about, you know, making inquiries. So I've got no idea how much it would cost. I did get a price from Hilbury, which was like £12,000. No, $12,000, sorry. Which seemed fairly reasonable. But on the other hand, I was kind of like, well, you know, you spent £12,000, then you add in your flights, you know, the cost of me and my fiance to stay there, and all this other stuff. And, you know, I figured it would probably be coming up to about 20... You know, all the sort of other bits and pieces that you might need to do will be coming out to about £15,000. Plus then you'd be asking people to make a trip all the way over there, and the hotel rooms are quite expensive. They're like about £200 per night, which is a lot of money to ask people to pay, plus their flights to come out there. You know, we were hoping that if we can get the wedding cheaper, then maybe, you know, we can sort of help towards the cost of, you know, people getting there. But it doesn't look like that will be the case. And I really sort of, you know, like I said, I've just balked at the idea of spending a huge amount of money on, you know, on a wedding. I'd rather, you know, spend the money on something a bit more tangible, you know. But, you know, we will see. Hair-wise, nothing particularly going on. Back to the wedding, sorry. I found a couple of places that if you wanted to get married, like in March, you could do that for £3,000. £3,000. pounds. Can you believe that? So it's basically like, you know, all you have to do is show up. You know, they pay, you know, they organise the drinks, they organise the venue, you know, you know, they'll get the justice of the peace sorted out for you to, you know, to marry you. Basically all you have to do is just show up. Just show up. Can you believe that? I wish I could have taken advantage of it, but unfortunately, because, you know, I'm now a fat cow, I have no choice but, you know, to turn it down, because I really have no intention of walking down the aisle at this current size. You know, and you would think that getting married, you know, I always thought that if I, you know, was going to get married, I would basically stop eating from the moment I was proposed to. But no, I've pretty much been eating ever since, you know, as if somehow I want to be the fattest bride on earth. I don't know what's going on with me. It's not even emotional, because it's not like I'm unhappy and I'm eating because I'm unhappy. And to be honest, I've never really eaten because I was unhappy. I just always ate. You know, I just love food. I love food. I love to eat. But you know, in the past, I used to be much more active. You know, so I used to do stuff. You know, I used to cycle to work. You know, I used to, you know, go jogging in the park, you know, after work. You know, I was just very much more active. And, you know, one of my friends said to me, it's because you're in love. You know, when you're in love, you just don't really care. And when you were single, you know, you were trying to catch a man. So, you know, you were a lot more active. And it doesn't help when your partner just doesn't care about your weight. You know, he never says anything. And sometimes I just wish he would say, you're too fat, I want you to lose some weight. You know, that, as much as it would hurt me, it would probably make me do something about it, you know. And I don't know, but anyway, it's not his fault. I just feel like I need to find, I just need to find the motivation, the will and the strength to lose the weight, because I really am just not happy at my current size. But you know, no point in moaning about it. I just need to stop eating and get off my fat ass and go and do some exercise. So anyway, that's you know, one of the things that has been bothering me recently. Well, not recently, you know, for a long while. Okay, and hair-wise, as I was saying, nothing too dramatic going on. It's just, you know, still wearing this wig. And I'll come back to you on the 16th of April with an update on whether or not the Megatech is working. So anyway, yeah, I'll be back with the results of that. If there's anything you want to know in particular, or you know, you have any questions, please feel free to, you know, leave your comments in the comment box, and I will be sure to reply. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.